if you want to use the relationship marketing concept, then 80% of your touches to your clients or prospects should be about them, celebrating them, showing gratitude to them. Once you've done your 80% of reaching out about them, then it's okay to do your 20% of asking for business or asking for referrals. But if you stay inside of that 80-20 kind of mindset, then relationship marketing can absolutely give your business an opportunity to explode.
Do you want to earn more? Work less and enjoy what you do each day. It's no secret, it can be done. This podcast with Dr. T will not only educate and inspire you, it will also teach you how to do more and be more with the time you already have. It will be like a shot of adrenaline straight into the heart of your business. Here is your host, Tyson Franklin.
Hi, I'm Tyson Franklin, and welcome to this week's episode of It's No Secret, Dr. T. Now, this show is brought to you by me and my book, It's No Secret, There's Money in Small Business. And I always jokingly say it is the second best business book ever written. Why is it the second? Because I haven't read the first one yet. So, with me today is Maelea Galyon, and she is a gratitude guru, relationship marketing specialist, and lifelong learner with a passion for teaching others to amplify their impact. Now, we have a really interesting story on how we actually met, which we will get into. So, Maelea, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's great to talk to you today, Tyson.
And we have spoken before, and I want to tell people how we met, which I think is quite interesting. Or would you like to tell people how we met? This show's all about you today.
No, I'd rather you tell the story, yeah.
Okay, so I'm sitting at home, and it was actually one of those days, when you're sitting at home and you're thinking, why do I do what I do? You know, I had been in the podiatry industry for 30 years. I'd sold my businesses, done quite well from it. And I was trying all these different things. I've been doing some coaching, started the podcast, and I was sitting back one day just going, okay, is what I'm doing right? And the next thing I get, this card arrives in the mail. And I go, okay. I open up the card, and this card is from a complete stranger that I've never met before. And it was telling me how much she enjoyed my podcast and how a particular episode had sort of really resonated with her, and to thank me. And I tell you, I needed that card that particular day. And from that point onwards, I have put Maelea up on a bit of a pedestal for reaching out to me in the first place. But this is what Maelea does. Maelea helps people connect with other people. Now, what's the name of the business that you run?
The name of our company is Send Out Cards, and I am a representative for them. I call my portion of the business Building Relationships Through Gratitude.
And that's exactly what you did with me. When I got that card, and it was funny, I've received over the years, every now and then you'll receive a handwritten card or you'll receive a postcard. And when you get it, because it's so rare these days, it stands out. I mean, it really, really stands out. And I think in business, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stand out from our competitors.
Amen. And that's kind of when I talk about helping people reach out and build relationships, what I'm really trying to help people do is amplify the impact that they already have. Our relationship marketing tool is just one piece of a big marketing toolkit that most people put into practice for business. But I think that because it's such a special touch, it does give you the opportunity to make your impact be stronger, because it's such a different kind of touch than some things these days.
So before we go any further, whereabouts are you from? Where are you based now?
I live in Boone, North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where the accent comes from?
I'm actually from Tennessee, and just moved here to the mountains of North Carolina a few years ago. But yeah, I'm a Southern girl.
Okay, a quick question. Can you play the guitar?
I don't, but I do sing in a band. So I'm the voice part, just not the guitar part.
No, I was going to say, I don't think I've ever met anyone that's from Tennessee that is not musically inclined somehow. It just seems to be in the blood.
It is. It's one of the greatest places, I think, to live if you are a music lover, because it's everywhere and it's all kinds of music. So yeah, it's a great music hub.
Okay, sorry for taking that little sidetrack, but it was just I'm listening to your voice and I was trying to pick where it's from. I knew it had to be southern somewhere, but I just thought we'd identify that. So with Send Out Cards, so Send Out Cards is the business that you work with. And can you explain to people how it actually works? And also, let's do that first. If you can explain what Send Out Cards is all about.
I absolutely will love to tell you what Send Out Cards is all about. Our founder and CEO is a man named Cody Bateman, and he had something happen to him when he was a young adult. He got transferred to a new town, and he was saying goodbye to his family, and he saw his brother Chris across the field as he was leaving town, and he had a prompting to go over and hug his brother Chris, but he ignored that prompting. And he went off and he moved to New York. He's from Utah, moved to New York City, started his job, and 3 months later, his brother Chris was killed in a tragic accident. And so Cody had this really deep lesson about not acting on a prompting. And so he built Send Out Cards as a way to help people act on their promptings. And so Send Out Cards gives me the ability, and anybody else who uses the system, when something comes to my head and I think I want to thank somebody, or I want to recognize somebody, or I want to celebrate somebody, or I want to mourn with someone, I can immediately, via an app on my phone, create a personalized card for that person, and it'll get mailed out the next day. A real physical greeting card.
And I have jumped on the website, and it's a really simple process to run through as well. But I like that story that you said. I think that wasn't a nice story. It was a sad story. But I think everybody's been in that boat when somebody's been leaving and they wish they had said something, wish they had done something, and they don't. And sometimes I had a close friend of mine who was a podiatrist, and we'd sort of lost contact a little bit. And then I was listening to a show, and it said, if there's somebody that you've lost contact with, you should reach out to them and call them. Bang! I started talking to my wife. I picked up the phone, and his name was Chris Wilson. So I rang up, left a message, and I never got anything back. And I was sort of like, I was a bit annoyed that I rang, left a message on his thing. I knew he would have checked his message, and he didn't call me back. Anyway, about 4 weeks later, his wife rings, and he died. But when his wife rang me, she said, the last 4 weeks he kept saying, I've got to ring Tyson, I've got to ring Tyson, I've got to ring Tyson. And he never did. I didn't try ringing a second time, and then he passed away. I mean, never spoke about it. And that's sad.
But I think it's important that you followed the prompting, because it ended up, you knew that you had reached out then.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't really get to talk to him, you walk away from that situation knowing that you reached out to him.
Yeah, that's true. And he thought about reaching back to me, just never got around to it. So at least the communication was there. And this is what Send Out Cards is all about. So if people are listening and they're not sure, what do they mean by Send Out Cards? It's like a thank you card. It's as simple as getting online, filling in some information, and actually having a physical card delivered to somebody.
Yes. And there are lots and lots of ways that the system can help you reach out to people, but the real crux of the service and the reason that it marries with the mission is that it allows you to act on that thought or that prompting. Hey, I think I want to reach out to somebody today. I believe that we all have good intentions.
Yeah.
And if anybody else is like me, I may be scrolling Facebook in the morning just to see what's going on with the people that I'm connected to. And I might see, Susie's grandmother died, or Joe got a new job, or Bill and Mary bought a new house. But I don't usually act on that. But Send Out Cards gives me the ability to do it right then. And I've done it so many times now. I typically send between 5 and 10 cards a day now. And I can do it in about 90 seconds. It takes me about 90 seconds to create a customized card with a photo on it and my handwriting in it.
Yeah.
seconds, it's ready to go.
And what's your website? So people, if they're listening to this and they want to go straight to the website now and have a look at it while they're listening, because I know not everybody listens on the phone. Sometimes people listen to things on their computer, and I'm like that. When I hear something, I'm like, well, can you just tell me what it is so I can jump on there and start looking at it while I'm listening? What's the website they can go to?
My website is www.buildingrelationships.cards, CARDS.
Cards. I'll just repeat that. Cards, if you happen to be Australian, it's cards. If you're from the South, it's cards. I love the accent. It's fantastic. And but people can use, is it just cards, or can they do other gifts as well through this site, or is it just cards itself?
There are also gifts. We have a gift store attached to it, and there are some gourmet foods and books and jewelry and gift cards. So yes, you can attach gifts as well. So I've gotten to the point where even if I'm going to attend a birthday party, I will send my card and gift ahead of time so that I don't have to worry about making sure that, I got to run by the house on the way to the party and grab my card and gift. I go ahead and send those ahead of time.
And I think you've done that with me. You've sent me a few since we've connected. You've sent me a few things over a period of time. And the last thing you sent me was this book, which I thought was really cool, The Power of Human Connection, and it's by Cody Bateman, the guy who started the Send Out Cards. So did you send this book via Send Out Cards, or was this something you did separately yourself?
I sent it separately because the book was available before it was available in our gift store. It is now available in the Send Out Cards gift store. So it is one of the options. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And it's funny you should say that. One of the best communicators and relationship builders I know is a guy by the name of Dave Freeze. He's been on my podcast twice. We're really good friends. He came over to Cairns and spoke at my event. I've spoken at his event in Arizona. And it's funny, when he was here in Cairns, he said, I've got to go and buy some postcards. And I went, oh, okay. I haven't seen a postcard in years. So, but he didn't just buy one or two. He bought 30 postcards. And then he sat down, he wrote these postcards, and he sent them out to people all around the world. And when I saw him do that, I went, wow, that's amazing, isn't it? Here's a person that I know is one of the best communicators in the world, builds relationships like no other, and here he is sending out all these postcards. And then he went from Australia to New Zealand, and then what did I receive? A week after he left, we received a postcard in the mail, and it made us feel really, really good.
The personal touch that goes along with a personalized message. And to me, I know a lot of people will get hung up when I tell them, if I create my card online, it gets printed and stuffed in an envelope and stamped and sent to the post office in Salt Lake City. They go, oh, well, it's not handwritten.
Yeah.
But to me, the magic is in the heartfelt message that I put in the card. And the knowledge that I thought of that person when I created that card. So I know there is magic in the handwritten card too. I don't want to take anything away from that, because for Dave to do that every time he is visiting somewhere is really awesome. But I'd love to show him Send Out Cards. It'd be a great tool for him. No,
I think it would, and I think there's room for both. Because I have received some cards in the mail. And when we were at Dave's event just recently, the one in Arizona, Dave actually spoke about giving out cards to people and the power of actually, whether it's handwritten. And I'll tell him about this particular service. Then he listens to my podcast as well, so he's probably going to hear this anyway. And I'll tell him we've got to mention it, which means he'll definitely listen to it. But when I got the card from you, which I actually have in front of me here, I'm just going to take it out of the envelope with some sound effects. And, okay, when I received this card, it was... I actually keep this card. The cards that anything I ever receive from somebody, I put it in my top drawer, and I just sit them there in a pile. And whenever I'm feeling a bit flat, I reach over, I pull the cards out, and I read all the messages that are basically there. And it just... remind you of the good things that you've done and the people that you've touched in a positive way. So when I got this card from you, which I think when we finish this, I'm going to take another photo, but with this card, so then I'll put that on Facebook so people can see what it is that we're talking about. And I'll actually put it in the show notes. But when I received this card, yes, I noticed it was it wasn't handwritten, it was printed. I didn't care. The message that was in there and the picture the personalized picture you put on the front, which was from my podcast, I just went, bloody hell, this person's put in some effort to actually connect with me. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And the message was great. So like you said, it doesn't need to be handwritten.
I agree. And I think that if what we do in the world is try to reach out to people and build relationships, then it's the intention that makes the difference, whether that's Dave's handwritten card or my printer generated card. It's the relationship building that is the important thing.
No, I agree. And it's very similar probably when someone goes on holidays and they come back and they bring you a bottle opener, or they'll bring you a clipping from a magazine from overseas. It doesn't need to be a $50 shirt, or a pair of $200 boots from Tennessee. It can just be a bottle opener. But it's the thought that they actually thought of you while they were away, which is the important part.
Absolutely.
So if people wanted to get started with this, what do they do? What's the process?
You can go to the website, buildingrelationships.cards, and at the top of the page, there's a button that says send a card. And you can go on there and you can send a card for free. The user interface is very intuitive and easy to navigate. And there's a tutorial on there if you want to learn how to use the site. But once you send that free card, it automatically sets up a free account for you. And you can use it as you want and pay for your cards as you go after that. Or there are some subscription plans depending on your volume, what kind of volume you expect to have.
How much is the average? If somebody was just going to send sporadically, they might do one a week or maybe one every 2 weeks. But how much does a card normally cost?
So the most expensive cards would be like $3.75 plus the postage, and that's US dollars.
How much is postage in America?
50 cents.
50 cents. Okay, which is probably like $1 Australian anyway. But even then, even if you put that all together, even if it costs say $3 something for the expensive card plus $1, say 50 cents postage, say it costs $5 American, which is about $7 Australian. That's still not a lot of money to connect with somebody. And how much do people spend in marketing in so many other ways trying to reach out?
Exactly. And there are lots and lots of people who are affiliated with Send Out Cards who use this service as their one and only marketing tool. There are lots of stories in that book that you referenced earlier, Tyson, The Power of Human Connection.
Yeah.
From people in real estate. There's a man from British Columbia who is a tree faller, like a real life Paul Bunyan, who talks about that he started using Send Out Cards to reach out and build relationships with prospective clients and people that he served, and it tripled his business in like 2 years. Just because it's such a simple tool to use that he was using it. He talks about thanking people through the process. So he'll thank people for the opportunity to bid a job. He'll thank people for scheduling a job. He'll thank people for letting him do the job. And he calls that thanking people through the process.
I like
and it's
that.
really increased his referral business.
I'm going to write that down, thanking people through the process. So basically, Send Out Cards, or Building Relationships .cards, which is your website. It's a marketing tool, and that's what people. It's sending a thank you card isn't just about sending a thank you card. It can be between personal relationships, that is just maintaining that relationship, but through business, this is a marketing tool that I think is overlooked. Big time. It is overlooked.
Yes, and Cody, if you look at the title of the book again, I've set my copy aside. I don't know where the rest
How
of
relationship marketing is transforming the way people succeed. That's what's written on there. Yeah.
The premise that Cody teaches us is that if you want to use the relationship marketing concept, then 80% of your touches to your clients or prospects should be about them, celebrating them, showing gratitude to them. Once you've done your 80% of reaching out about them, then it's okay to do your 20% of asking for business or asking for referrals. But if you stay inside of that 80-20 kind of mindset, then relationship marketing can absolutely give your business an opportunity to explode.
And I can see the benefits, like looking at businesses I've had in the past and looking at what I do right now, I can just see so many opportunities throughout both those businesses that you could use cards to connect with people. And it's not, like I said, it's not just thanking someone for like the tree lopping business, thanking people for letting them even do the bid in the first place. Now I could picture myself having an electrician and we need a big job done and you have 2 or 3 come in to quote on it, and then getting a card when you're sitting there thinking about it and getting a card from one just thanking you for letting them bid. You would sort of go, oh, okay, this guy is different. And if you're looking at the quotes and they're all very similar and you were trying to decide, I think I'd be picking the one that sent me the card.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got some more examples of how people are using them?
Absolutely. I talked about real estate a little bit. There's a real estate broker in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and they have used send out cards in their brokerage. And I'll give you an example. She celebrates people in her community all the time. And she is now like a walking, talking, card sending fool. She sends cards all the time. And she looks for reasons to celebrate people. So she went to an event at a country club in her community, and it was a food tasting event. And she took a photo of the chef that won the prize. It was a contest. And so she took a photo of the chef that won the prize and put that on the front of a card and sent a card to that person and said, congratulations on winning. You had fabulous food, or something simple like that. Nothing about her. Now she had her logo on the back. What she didn't know was that this man was in the market for a real estate professional. So he called her, and in the 8 years since then, they have listed and or helped listed for sale or helped that same family purchase 9 separate homes. So they've done 9 separate closings for that family. You know, it might not be the same man, but maybe his brother or but that's, you know, just one simple card to reach out and say, hey, great job. I noticed you won.
I don't think you could ever send a card to somebody and they're going to go, oh, geez, I don't appreciate that. I don't think you'd ever get a negative from the card. Even if you don't get, you know, I'm sure not every person that receives a card is going to be as happy as what I was or received it at the time that they really needed it. And I'm sure there's some people you would send it and it just, you know, like water off a duck's back. Oh, yeah, everyone thanks me because I'm awesome. And you don't get any sort of response. But I doubt you would ever get somebody ring up and go, I can't believe you sent me this crappy card. I don't think you would ever get a negative.
I've not heard of any stories where people have been unappreciative of their cards. And I'll tell you, Tyson, the other thing is that once you build a habit of looking for reasons to celebrate people and looking for reasons to reach out, it changes you as the sender.
Okay. Well, it makes you more aware.
Yeah. And I look through different glasses today than I did 5 or 10 years ago. I see the world in a totally different way than I did 5 or 10 years ago, because now I'm looking for things to celebrate and people. I always used to say, I wish I were more considerate.
Yeah.
I didn't consider myself to be a very considerate person. And now I think I am, because I'm looking for reasons to reach out to people. But it takes a conscious shift in perspective to do that.
Well, the word that you used, awareness, I think that is the word. When I was at this event in Arizona, we went to Topgolf. Now, I don't know if you know what Topgolf is, but 3-story driving range. It is the most amazing place in the world.
I heard your podcast about it.
Yeah. So, but when you talk about awareness, I was there in July, and I said, "Oh yeah, this is a great place. It's amazing." But when we went back there in October and we were told, hey, we want you to try and write down as many marketing ideas that they're using to get money out of your pocket. And all of a sudden, so we were now told to be aware. And once you were aware, all of a sudden it opened up to everything that they were doing that I didn't see in July. I think what you said is exactly the same thing. When you're looking for reasons to celebrate and you become aware of that, you start actually seeing the opportunities. And for like you said, for under $5 to send something to somebody, I think is a bargain. And that's in America. What happens if somebody is overseas? What's the cost if... Because I know I'd get online, if I was using the service, I would get online and I'm in Australia and I might want to send it to somebody in Australia. It's still the same price for the card, it's just the difference in the postage.
Correct. And it's going to charge, because the cards are printed and posted in Utah, then the post is going to cost whatever it costs to send it from Utah.
Okay, so when I got this one from you, here's the sound effects again. There's the envelope. It has on here, it has an Australian stamp and it has $1 on there. So that was like $1 American to actually send it over. Oh, it's only 50 cents more in postage to send it out. And even if it was $2 more, it's still not a lot of money to connect with someone in another country.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, you asked me earlier, how do people get started? I do want to talk about one of the aspects of some of the accounts. One of the accounts that we have, actually two of them, give you unlimited single send cards, including the postage. So what that means is, I mentioned earlier, I send usually between 5 and 10 cards a day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't pay $3.75 plus the postage for that 5 to 10 cards a day, because I have a subscription that is a set price, and it allows me to send as many of those cards that are single, unique cards as I want, including the postage, to anywhere in the world. So that card that I sent to you didn't cost me anything above and beyond my subscription.
Okay, so so that's like the top level if people are just going to smash this thing out of the park. Yep. So what's the cost of the subscription if you wanted to go to that top level?
Our most expensive subscription is $147 a month, US. And like I said, that gives you unlimited, what we call single send heartfelt cards, a unique card to a single person. But it also includes 100 group send cards every month. So that would be like, if I want to send the same card to my top 100 clients every, a January card to my top 100 clients and a February card to my top 100 clients, then that subscription includes those 100 cards as well. That
is so cheap. That is so cheap. Is there a limit? Like if somebody had a podiatry business and they wanted to send out 1,000 cards a day, is there a limit? They sort of, oh, hang on, that's just getting a bit ridiculous.
As long as it depends on what type of card. In send out cards, we talk about 3 types of card sending. One is that heartfelt, unique card, like the one I sent to you.
Yeah.
One is what we call those group sends, and that's if you create one card template and you send that to a bunch of people. And the other is called scheduled sends. And so this is like, we can give people the power to do a drip campaign. So let's say I get a new client and I want them to get a thank you card. And then a month later, I want them to get a card that's got a little bit of education in it about my service.
Yeah.
And then I want them to get a birthday card and a holiday card. And then at the year mark, I want them to get an annual renewal. Hey, it's time for your annual renewal. Holler at me and we'll get you, get that worked out. So we have the ability to do that. And each of those things has a different kind of pricing.
Oh, okay. So does that all come under the 147, or is that slightly different again?
The scheduled cards are extra, but we have packages for that as well.
Yeah.
So
people are just got to get on the website and just check it out and search through and see what actually suits them. And I'm sure a lot of thought has gone into this, and they've planned for the idiot that wants to send 1,000 cards a day for his business, and they go, no, you're an idiot. We don't really need you. Yeah, because there's always that one. There's always that one person.
And we do have businesses that are really high volume. I don't know that that I know of any that are 1,000 a day, but like we've got car dealerships, and every person who's bought a car from them this year is getting one of those 5-touch card campaigns, plus an original thank you card at the beginning with their picture. So that's part of that heartfelt card send.
It's funny you should say that, because I remember reading something about the guy who was the greatest car salesman in the world, holds all the records.
Joe Girard.
Yeah, and his secret marketing tool was, if you bought a car from him, if you bought a car from him, you received a birthday card, a Christmas card, and an anniversary card every year for the rest of your life. And he just built, and there were people lined up to actually see him to buy a car. Yeah,
he was like you said, he was in the Guinness Book of World Records. And the thing about it is when you have a system that helps you reach out, you don't just stay top of mind to those people, but in send out cards, we like to say you stay top of heart.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you stay top of heart. People really remember you, and that's where you build the referral business and the return business.
No, I reckon I like that, top of heart, not top of mind. So I've got one last question for you, and this is my Monday morning tip. And if you listen to my podcast, you know Monday morning tip is probably coming up, so I hope you've thought about it. It's Monday morning, someone's bumped into you and they've said, Maelea, I heard you on my favourite podcast, It's No Secret with Dr. T. I'm about to go into work, 8:30 Monday morning, when my bum hits that chair. What's the number one tip that you would give me to start my day?
Think of some way to reach out in kindness to at least 3 people. That's how you should start your day every day, is to look for reasons to be kind.
Look for reasons to be kind. That is simple and brilliant. I like that. And so once again, how can people connect with you? I'll read it out for them if you want. It's www.buildingrelationships.cards. Now, can people connect with you in other ways, like email address, LinkedIn, Facebook?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn and Facebook. My first name is spelled Maelea, and my last name is Galyon. And I'm in LinkedIn and Facebook, and would love to connect. Yeah, and my email is just my first and last name @gmail.com.
Okay, and I'll just point out to people it's Galyon, not Gaylon, which is what you'd expect.
Yeah.
I remember when you this is how much this card touched me when I got it. To point this out to people why they should actually take a look at this service and start thinking about using it, is when I received this card, I then shot a short video, and I put it on Facebook saying to the world, my God, I got this card from a complete stranger who doesn't even know me. And I actually sat there and I read out the whole message that was inside the card, and I said your name wrong. I actually said Gaylon instead of Galyon. And I bet that happens all the time. And actually,
yes.
In your notes, when I said talking point, you said, I always like to help folks out with my pronunciation of my name. It is pronounced Maelea Galyon. So if no one should be confused now. So thank you so much for coming on It's No Secret with Dr. T. I've really enjoyed this, and I just want to point out to people, this is the power of send out cards and doing this, because it was through that card that you sent me. Not only did I do a video, as I mentioned before, and put it on Facebook, but it's through that and us talking that you ended up coming onto my podcast. And I think this has been a really, really valuable conversation.
Thank you so much, Tyson. I have really enjoyed listening to you and watching your presence on Facebook, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast. Thank you very much.
No, I thank you. Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
I definitely think after listening to this today that I need to be thanking people more, and I need to be showing gratitude to the people who have touched me in different ways in my life, and they may even be totally unaware of the effect that they're actually having. So if you're listening to a podcast, not just this one, other podcasts, or you've seen a speaker and they've said something that's really resonated with you, instead of just keeping that to yourself, send them an email, send them a thank you card, or get on to Maelea's website, buildingrelationships.cards, and send them something. I'll tell you right now, they are going to appreciate it. The one point I wanted to drive home again was when Maelea said, once you build a habit of looking for reasons to celebrate other people's success and reasons to reach out, it changes you. And you become more considerate and your awareness level increases. I think that's something that we need to remember on a daily basis. So my guest next week is Josh Remington from the Sunshine Coast, and he has a business called JR Marketing, and he talks a lot about online marketing solutions. Here's a little snippet of what's coming up next week.
You definitely have to start, building up your content, building up your relationships, and actually do a bit of the hard work. So many people are trying to get those quick wins and just jump in straight away and try and sell people, but you're going to have better relationships and you're going to have better quality businesses that you can work with and people that you can work with if you actually build those relationships first and you're getting people that are actually know what you're about and actually want to actually connect properly with you.
In this particular episode, Josh Remington does talk about Facebook ads, AdWords, Facebook pixels, Instagram, LinkedIn. We cover all the social media bases and we talk about how he uses them himself and how he uses them for his clients. So it's worth tuning into. Before I go, just want to give you a reminder about a couple of friends' podcasts. One is called Unstructured with Eric Hunley. The other one is The Savvy Dentist with Dr. Jesse Green. And In Top Form with Dave Freeze and Somnath Sitkar. All four of these people I just mentioned have been guests on It's No Secret with Dr. T. So if you like this podcast, I know for a fact you're going to like their podcast as well. Okay, that's it from me. That's another podcast done, completed, another guest that I tick off that I reckon has brought some really good value to this particular show. If you have any questions, please send me an email and I will do my best to answer them. Just send it to tf@tysonfranklin.com. Okay, that's it from me. Take care of yourselves, look after your family, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye for now.